What's up, guys? Nerdy Guys here from the Nerd Talk podcast, Nerdy Talk for nerdy fans. We got a special guest in the building. We got Brianna from the Cobra Kai Companion podcast.
Hello.
We're here, obviously, to talk about the newest season of Cobra Kai. Cobra Kai Season 3 just launched this week on Netflix, New Year's. And, yeah, it's so far so good. It's getting a lot of positive reception. And we're going to get to the good, we're going to get to the bad, we're going to get to our kind of rating into it. I got a few notes written down for you guys, kind of highlights I saw this season and stuff I didn't like. Brianna, how did you feel about season 3? You've obviously watched most of it or seen it all. How were your thoughts?
Yep, I've seen it all, and I've seen the last half of episode 10 3 times.
Oh, wow.
Because I really like that part. I would say on a scale of 1 to 10, I would give it an 11. What keeps it from being a 15 is one character who came back. But overall, I love it. It is by far my favorite season.
That's awesome. I thought it was good. I thought it was a really good season, but I think there was a lot of filler to it, which makes it makes me can't give it a great rating. You know, it's good. It's still one of my favorite shows on television, which just shows the level of writing that's on here, the level of hard work put into this show, dedication. But there's a lot going on for me, a lot of filler and a lot of stuff that I personally would have taken out that keeps me from giving it a grade. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I get what you understand. I don't know what could actually be considered filler, though, because, I mean, every moment of every scene served the plot. There were no goofy one-off comedy episodes or, any unnecessary character exposition, or everything served the plot and everything moved the story forward. I thought that it was, like, completely packed with, I'm a big plot-driven person.
Yeah.
And the characters, if the characters drive the plot, that's what sucks me in, and that's what this show is.
I just think the whole back half of the season 3 felt like it was drawn on too long, and maybe the conflict was just drawn on a little too long, and all the stuff with kind of bringing in Allie and that kind of character, just to me, it drew on too long, a little too long that I liked, and I would have liked them. It felt like they wanted to go into that tournament arc right at the end of the season, and they're like, we'll just save it for season 4. You know what I mean?
Well, I think what we've got, I mean, Johnny and Daniel at this point are going to have to do a heck of a lot of work with their kids to get them, doing the same thing, fighting the same style. Johnny and Daniel haven't even come up with their style yet. They don't even have a name. So I think season 4, if we know that we're going to the All Valley at the end of season 4, we've got, since this was December 19th, we've got 4 months.
Yeah.
To see what they can do with these kids. I loved everything about this season. I was very excited. I think it was episode 2 when they had the blonde surgeon and she turned around and it wasn't Allie, and that made me very, very happy.
Yeah.
The only thing I'm slightly disappointed in is that Allie was there. I didn't think she was necessary. I liked the role they had her play. I trust them. She did fit into the story. But I really would have preferred that Johnny and Daniel came to the conclusion that they needed to just let it go themselves. Getting it from their ex-girlfriend in common seemed a little strange.
Which to me which is why I think it was felt like it dragged on too long because I feel like they were coming to that conclusion anyways by the end of season 2, and to me it felt like it was repeating the same notes that we had from season 2. But I really liked the first half of the season. The first half of the season was really strong to me. You know, the whole build up of Miguel getting to walk again, the whole conflict with the Cobra Kai bullies, you know. But
Mm-hmm.
even to me, the Cobra Kai bullies, they got too repetitive by the end of the season. You know, they were just doing stuff that I'm like, this is just borderline criminal stuff. You know what I mean? Like, I did martial arts as a kid. Warring, we had schools that were warring against each other, but we never did stuff that was like criminal stuff. Like these kids, like breaking arms and like just like where are the parents in all this? You know what I mean? Like it got to me it got just a little bit too crazy. I think for the back half they should have toned it down just a little bit. You know, not too much because I did enjoy the conflict, but to me it just went like just a step too far. You know?
They were doing things that, I mean, not even borderline criminal. That fight at the house was absolutely 100% criminal
Yeah.
because that was breaking and entering and assault and battery. Um, but I don't know where you live, and I don't know if you have any kids. But my youngest is 19, so they all just came through the public school system, and I thought that they did a fantastic job of showing what kids go through with
Oh,
bullies.
I
And
definitely
as
thought that was a
much
great
as
idea.
Counselor Blatt tried to do the right thing, she was completely wrong. She kept taking the bully's side in everything and got on the victims for fighting back. And that is so realistic and so painful. The school systems do not know how to deal with bullying. They don't. They don't protect the kids at all.
Oh, I know. I'm from Western Mass, and we had two. I mean, like our school, we had two schools. My school and another school that were kind of like warring dojos like this. You know what I mean? And like, and let me tell you, those schools were like it was just like this. But I don't think the people were doing criminal stuff with the karate. You know?
Oh yeah, that kind of stuff, fights like that happen here all the time. Kids break each other's arms, break each other's noses.
Yeah.
We've had a couple kids that have shot each other, and I live in Southern Illinois in a tiny, tiny little town.
Jeez.
And this is all stabbings, and this is all stuff that's happening in the school.
Wow.
People coming after people with pool cues after lunch, and it just all of it. And it's scary, and there's no way for the victims to defend themselves. I 100% understand where Sam was coming from with that, why she was so upset.
I get it too. I just think they went like just a step too far with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not arguing that it wasn't realistic. It's just like I think they just went a little too far. And even the fight scene at the house, it felt like they were just stretching it a little bit to get to another fight scene like that season finale for season 2. You know what I mean? It felt like they were trying to repeat that. You know, these same beats.
It had the same kind of feel. I think there was a oneer down the hallway through the Dimitri on the other side of the glass, past the courtyard.
Yeah.
But this one, it was the same kind of feel, but it was a different tone, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I was just by the end of it, I was just like, oh, we've already seen this. Like, I want to just get past this already. You know what I mean?
Well, the fight at the school was over just petty rivalries, right?
Yeah.
The fight at the house was literally about their lives. Cobra Kai was there to kill them all.
Oh, I know.
So the stakes were absolutely 100% raised. I actually like this fight better than the school fight.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I do, because I think it might be the same reason that I like the Karate Kid 2 the best. It's because the stakes were so high.
Oh, we'll get into that too because I loved all the Karate Kid 2 throwbacks. I mean, I
Ugh.
was a huge fan of all the throwbacks, and that's what I was looking forward to the most coming into this season, and they paid it off super well. You know, I think they spent just the right amount of time in Okinawa, you know, with the characters, and they did not disappoint me at all. You know.
Oh, it was more, so much more than I ever expected. I knew that if Kumiko and Chosen were to be in the season, that they would not be cameos. They would not be just faces on the street walking by. They played huge roles. And I adore them both. Chosen at the end, he was so Sato, because he's
Yeah.
so intense. And then after, as Daniel's leaving, Chosen smiles at him. And he's a completely different person. It was just like Sato after Mr. Miyagi saved him.
Yeah, and I loved how playful he was towards the end with Daniel. You can see Daniel had an impact on him. You know.
Oh, yes, the laughing. Oh, my gosh. You should have seen your face. It was awesome. I loved it. I loved it so much.
Yeah, it was really great throwbacks, and I don't even it was like great fan service. This was fan service really done right. You know.
Oh, this at one point when I was live tweeting, and I actually tweeted out, this season feels like it was written just for me.
Oh
This
yeah.
is everything I've ever wanted. This is I write fan fiction. A lot of my friends do too, and we read it. And this season was a fanfic, especially that last fight.
Yeah.
Fan fiction writer's dream.
Oh,
It's
that last fight was
everything we want to
awesome.
see.
I was so shocked that Daniel got into the fight. I was like, oh my god, like this is what we've been waiting 3 seasons for, you know?
Oh God, let me say, because this dawned on me like an hour later. um, I when they were fighting the guys at the chop shop.
Yeah.
I like them fighting together, and I like Johnny protecting Daniel, like when he shoved him out of the way because he knew he was going to start a fight, right?
Yeah.
I really, really like that, and I love the idea of these two protecting each other. Like nobody messes with him but me, kind of
Yeah,
thing.
exactly.
When Daniel literally saved Johnny's life,
Hmm.
it it took me an hour to realize I had actually seen it. I have been wanting this for years. I have been wanting one of them to save the other one's life, and Daniel did it, and just all I can do is scream. And Kreese was going to choke Johnny to death, and he was going to stab Daniel. He was going to kill them both.
Yeah. Kreese
And
was super evil this season. That was like,
yes, I mean, I know he hates Daniel, but to kill him, to stab him,
yeah.
Killing Johnny, choking him is one thing, because it's a karate move. Yeah, he's still gonna kill him, but it's stabbing someone. That is like the most personally hatred way that you can kill someone, because you're right in their face when they do it.
Yeah. And
And
I think this season proved Kreese is gonna do whatever he needs to win, you know?
yes,
And that's scary.
yes, it's terrifying. It's absolutely terrifying. And I kept saying, and I've always joked, because Daniel won the fight in Okinawa when he was 16. I'm like, Daniel knows how to kill people. He won a fight to the death. That means he knows how to kill people, right? So,
Yeah.
I used to joke, Daniel knows how to kill people now. Chosen taught him.
Hmm.
And he was going to do it.
Oh, yeah.
And he looked to Johnny for permission, and Johnny told him to.
Yeah.
And just the fact that he looked to Johnny for consent for what he was about to do was just like, yes, they woke up. They're still infants. They're still man babies, but they have finally figured out that they do have to do this together.
Yeah, and I thought that was great. I'm really excited to see how their conflicting styles mix with each other. You know, when they're teaching. You know,
Hmm.
I'm really
Yeah,
excited
and
to see how
I
that
want to know
works.
what their name is. I want a T-shirt and a jacket and a sweatshirt and socks with the with the new dojo's name on it, but we
Heck,
don't know.
I want to be
So
an extra just to be in something like that. You know.
I've got a couple friends that have been. I know my friend Missa was a background extra in the Okinawa episode. I didn't see her, so I'm gonna have to go back and look for her and see if she got in. But I know she was down there for it. Uh,
I was down there for season one.
oh yeah.
Yeah, but I haven't seen myself when I rewatch it. You know.
Oh, I had a friend that was in season 2, and he was at Josh. He was at all in the Valley Fest,
Oh, that's
and
awesome.
they put the camera right on him. He's the blonde guy in the red and blue jacket.
That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah, it was.
Another thing I have written down here is how they handled the consequences from season two. I thought there's so many TV shows that do these big events and they won't handle the consequences after, like an Avengers movie. You never see what happens after the city's destroyed. You
Nope.
know, you never see what happens after James Bond destroys a building. But this handles what happens from season two, the consequences of a giant fight. What are
Mhm.
your thoughts on that? Did you enjoy that they
Oh,
handled the consequences?
yes. I was fascinated. I was very glad to see them deal with the fallout. Um, I did not think Robbie deserved to actually serve time.
Yeah,
Because it was an accident and it was self defense when it started. I really think that Robbie should have gotten probation,
yeah.
the same as Tori. I understand she was her mother's caregiver, and that's the only thing that kept her out, and that's wonderful. But I don't think Robbie deserved jail time either. I think if he had listened to Daniel maybe and gotten the lawyer on his side instead of throwing Daniel away, which I understand because Daniel did it to him first.
Yeah.
And I don't. No amount of apology, I think, is going to fix that at this point. Um, my big wish is that Raymond was in jail, not probation with, in order to stay 500 feet away from children. I wanted Raymond in jail. I wanted Raymond in prison.
Yeah.
I didn't want him on probation. So
I want to see Kreese go to jail, man. He is freaking scary.
he's terrifying, but he went to the police first. He got the restraining order on Amanda.
Yeah,
So now it looks like Amanda's the crazy one. The man is psychotic.
I
He's
know.
a sociopath.
I was listening
Um,
to another review. They were like if Hitler. They described him as if Hitler and the devil made a baby. You get Kreese.
I mean, I was really fascinated by the Vietnam backstory. I think they did a fantastic job with it. John Kreese at 18 was a very, very sweet boy.
Yeah,
And he was in love, and he was going to go home and get married, and he was going to live a perfectly normal life. And I mourn that that little boy Johnny died in that cage. I really do. But what he became when he got out of the cage is a child abusing psychopath would be murderer. And that's
monster,
all on
just
him.
complete monster. I mean,
Hmm.
it was giving me horror movie vibes watching him. I mean that.
The snakes in in the dealership, that scene when it just popped up randomly in the live Christmas feed, it seemed so cheesy, but in context with the season, it was terrifying.
Or the what he was doing to the landlord. Oh my god! I was
Oh
like,
yes,
oh, I can't
I
watch this.
ah, I was cringing. I thought he was going to close it. I really did.
Ah, me too. And they don't show you. They just cut to the hot dog getting cut. I was like, oh, I can't watch this.
That was a beautiful edit. That was a wonderful cut. I loved that so much. Now, that's not to say that he didn't do an honorable thing there, because that man was a rapist, a child rapist.
Oh, I know.
And, Kreese took care of that.
But it's still, I mean, that is some, like, oh, I was cringing. I was like, oh, I can't watch this. I mean, and it was just a lot of the things he was doing. I was just like, this is straight out of horror movies, you know?
Mm-hmm. Well, he's brainwashing the kids.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty clear. He did the same thing to Johnny. He did the same thing to Daniel. He brainwashes children. That's what he does.
And these kids were worse than bullies at some of the points. I mean, Hawk was the worst.
God, when he broke Dimitri's arm.
There's so much stuff Hawk was doing. I was like, this kid belongs in juvie with fucking, with
Robbie.
With Robbie. If anybody belongs in that juvie cell, it's Hawk right now. And that's how he's gonna learn a lesson. And he doesn't get his, I mean, he sort of gets his comeuppance, but he really doesn't, you know?
Because by the end, and as much as I cried when he broke Dimitri's arm, because Dimitri is laying there begging him, Eli, please, it's me,
Yeah.
That killed me. That absolutely killed me, because Dimitri is supposed to be the goofy kid. He's not supposed to be begging his best friend for his life.
Dude, I wanted to jump in so badly. I was like, this is a TV show. I can't just fix this. Ugh.
Yeah, but then at the end, him coming in and getting them off of Dimitri and saving him before and then fighting back to back with him, and Eli's back.
Yeah.
Hawk lost. That battle was going on all season, and you could see it in his face. And Eli won.
Oh, I know.
And that is thrilling to me.
He was just such a monster for most of the season, though. I was just like, I can't believe this, you know? I was like, really? Like, how is this kid not getting his ass kicked, you know?
Right.
But, yeah, let's do our final thoughts on the season 3. I'm gonna give this season 3 a good 7.9 out of 10. It's almost an 8 for me. It's really close to being an 8, but I can't bring myself to give it an 8 because I feel like season 3, the back half is just, it feels like it's missing something, or it feels like they could have. I don't know. It feels a lot of repetitiveness. It feels a lot of cheesiness. And the first half was so strong for me. But they lost me in the second half. So that's why I can't bring myself to give it an 8. What about you?
Well, I actually felt the exact opposite. I thought the back half, the action ramped up. I thought the pace ramped up. The episodes seemed to go faster the further I got in. I'm not going to say that I was drawn more into the story, because it's really not possible to get me any more into the story than I've been since season 1. But there was just, for me, the back half was where all of the dramatic things started happening, and where, the real world consequences of what was going on were starting to pay off, and then we're getting the Kreese backstory. Like I said, the only thing that detracted me at all was Allie.
Yeah.
I understand why she was there. She did serve a point in the story. They dealt with her really well, but I didn't. I was one of those few people that didn't really need to see her. So I still give it an 11. It's my favorite season, and since season 1 was a 10, and I think this one's better, I gotta go 11.
That's awesome. I really appreciate it. That's a good thing about opinions. Me and you can watch the same thing and see the seasons totally different, and still have a civil conversation about it. That is awesome.
Oh, absolutely. There's no reason not to. We both love the same show.
And,
that's what discussion's about.
We're both diehard fans. We'll watch it a million times. Just because I didn't like this more than the other season. Doesn't mean I'm not gonna watch it a million times. You know, I'm gonna probably watch this 15 times.
Yeah, I will probably watch it again by the end of the day.
Oh yeah, easily. But tell my fans where they can find you at and where they can support your podcast.
I am the co-host of Peter Vonasak's Cobra Kai Companion. He is a Cobra Kai Pod on Twitter, Cobra Kai Podcast on Instagram. We have a page on Facebook. We are Cobra Kai Companion on YouTube. And we are also on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. I think just your favorite podcast catcher. We are Cobra Kai Companion with a K. And I myself am Brianna25, anywhere you might happen to look. I write fan fiction, I make posters, I make music videos, and I talk a lot.
And all that will be in a link in the description below. Thank you guys for listening and watching. Until next time, I've been your host from the Kais, signing out. And we'll see you guys in the next one.